Wikileaks founder Julian Assange may be out of jail, but his legal battle on sexual assault charges is still ongoing. Sweden insists on his extradition from the UK. However, Assange is sure no proper justice awaits him there. Laura Emmett is following the case in London.
In Sweden, it's not many people who say today that they suspect a setup.
It's a case of Julian Assange not being the best of men.
Until rape charges were levelled at Julian Assange, the founder of Wikileaks, the state of Sweden's justice system might not have been something that kept you awake at night. But now Sweden's requesting Assange's extradition from the UK for having unprotected sex with two women. They call it rape.
Wikileaks grundare Julian Assange.
The charge has been dubbed sex by surprise. Assange allegedly refused to wear a condom, and it's a crime unique to Sweden. Here in the UK, people say it would be funny if it wasn't so serious.
This just seems ridiculous to me, and it's actually diminished the whole issue of rape, and I regret that deeply. And it's been an injustice to not only Julian Assange but to women and to feminists and all victims of rape.
Even in Sweden, the original prosecutor threw the allegations out on lack of merit. Then Assange began the release of 250,000 US diplomatic cables, revealing and humiliating for the US government. All of a sudden, Sweden's Director of Public Prosecutions decided the rape claims were valid, and Sweden swallowed it whole, including some of its most outspoken commentators.
It's clear that Julian Assange is not a person who should be in jail for journalism. If he has committed a sexual offence, then that's a separate issue from Wikileaks. I do not think this is politically motivated. At least I sincerely do not hope so.
Assange himself is calling this a political witch hunt, and he's not the only one outside Sweden who's drawing that conclusion.
Maybe in the near future we'll come across some leaked documents showing how the US put pressure on Sweden and Great Britain to secure the arrest of Julian Assange. It's very unusual for a man to be accused of having consensual sex but not necessarily using a condom, but to suddenly find himself on the same list, the Interpol list, alongside senior Mexican drug lord.
I don't think this case ought to have been brought at all. Julian Assange offered to meet the Swedish prosecutor here. He offered to meet the Swedish prosecutor over there. He left with the permission of the Swedish prosecutor. There's been no suggestion that he didn't want to cooperate. So why are we going through all this? Why did Julian Assange end up in the punishment block at Wandsworth Prison?
Questions that the Swedish media doesn't seem prepared to ask. London's High Court was the scene of loud protests by Assange's supporters during his bail hearing, and they're likely to show up again when he reappears to fight extradition in January. But if he is sent to Sweden, he's unlikely to get anything like the level of support in a country which appears to be ready to condemn him as a rapist without questioning any of the possible political motivations behind the claims. Laura Emmett, RT, London.
Well, it's not just Swedish authorities Julian Assange has to worry about. American lawyers are seeking ways of extraditing him to the US as the fallout from the latest tranche of documents released by Wikileaks continues. Author Laura Flanders told RT that the leaks highlight the power America wields comes at a price.
It's been very interesting in the WikiLeaks documents that have been released over the last few weeks. As we've seen, the American power is evident, not just in how many weapons this country has, but in the pressure it's able to bear on just about every embassy around the world to do its bidding. The U.S. arms race to become by far the most weaponized nation on earth is an asset when it comes to the State Department bullying other countries and undermining their democracy to get what they want. You've seen tremendous power come to the United States, but you've come to see, I think, the cost as our economy crumbles.